Today, we're going to look at building wealth in a way that might totally flip your perspective. What if I told you that getting to your first $100,000 isn't just a tiny 10% step towards a million? What if, when we're talking about pure, hard effort, it's actually about a third of the entire journey? Let's dig into why that isn't just some nice motivational phrase, but a cold, hard mathematical fact. Have you ever had that feeling? You log into your investment account, you see you've put away 20, maybe $30,000, but that big $1 million goal just feels impossibly far away, like laughably far. If you've ever felt that slow, frustrating crawl, then you're going to want to stick around for this. So here's the core idea we're unpacking today. Hitting that first 100K is a huge deal. It's a much bigger milestone than the number itself suggests. And I'm about to show you, with real numbers, why this is the absolute reality of how wealth actually gets built. Okay, first things first, we need to tackle this huge mental trap that keeps so many people from ever getting started. I call it the wealth illusion, and it's all about how our brains trick us into thinking about how money grows. See, most of us are stuck in what's called linear thinking. We think, okay, if I save $10,000, I'm $10,000 closer to my goal. Simple enough, right? Except it's dead wrong. And this is precisely why so many people get discouraged and quit. They see that slow progress early on and think, man, at this rate, it's going to take me 100 years to get there. But wealth doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows on a curve that gets steeper and steeper. I love this analogy because it's just so perfect. Think about your first few years of investing like you're pushing a giant boulder up a really steep hill. It is brutal. It's exhausting. Every single inch of progress comes from your own sweat and muscle. But that $100,000 mark, that's you finally reaching the peak of that hill. And once you tip that boulder over the edge, everything changes. So let's really get into the nitty-gritty of that uphill push. This is where all the hard work happens, and honestly, understanding these numbers is the key to not giving up when it feels like nothing's happening. So where does that first 100 grand actually come from? Well, take a look at this. A whopping 62% of it, that's $62,000, comes directly from your own contributions. The market, it only chips in about 38%. At this point, your money, your little army of dollar bills, is barely doing any of the work. You are doing all of the heavy lifting. And how long does this take? Well, let's say you invest just $100 a week. That's about what you might spend on a couple of nice dinners out. At a pretty average 8% return, it takes about 12 years to hit that first 100,000. 12 years. I know, that sounds like an eternity, right? This is the grind. This is the part where most people just lose faith and walk away. But here's the good news. Right after that grind, that's when the magic happens. We've reached the tipping point where the whole game starts to change. And believe me, it happens a lot faster than you'd think. Okay, you ready for this? This is the big aha moment. It took 12 long, grinding years to get that first 100,000. But to get the second 100,000, it only takes 6 more years. Just let that sink in for a second. The time it takes to double your money gets cut in half. That boulder is officially rolling downhill and it's picking up speed. And that acceleration, it just keeps going. Check out this timeline. The next 100K only takes about 4.5 years. After that, the time between each of these huge milestones just keeps getting shorter and shorter because your money is finally starting to do the real work for you. This is compounding in action, and it's an incredible thing to see. Hitting that 100K mark isn't just about the numbers on a screen. Something else happens. It actually triggers a deep psychological shift inside you. It totally changes how you see money, and even more important, how you see your own capabilities. Even the legendary investor Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right-hand man for decades, said it himself. He knew that anyone who can successfully save that first $100,000 has proven something powerful to themselves, that they have the discipline, the grit, and the patience to see the long game. And this is where it starts to feel real. An 8% return on 100 grand is $8,000 a year. That breaks down to almost $700 a month that your money is now making for you without you having to lift a finger. All of a sudden, your investments are making enough to cover your car payment or maybe your entire grocery bill for the month, all while you're sleeping. It's not just a number anymore. It's a real, tangible force in your life. So this is the transformation in a nutshell. First, you prove you've got the habits. Second, your whole mindset shifts. You stop thinking just like a consumer who spends money, and you start thinking like an owner who invests it. And third, and this is the best part, You get to actually feel the power of your money finally working for you, building this passive income stream day in and day out. All right, let's bring this all home. Let's look at the ultimate reward for pushing through that tough early grind. This is the long-term payoff that makes all that struggle so worth it. Hey, remember that first chart we looked at for the first 100K? The one where you were doing almost all the work? Now look at the picture when you hit $1 million. The tables have completely turned. Your own contributions now make up less than 20% of the total. And that other $813,000, that is pure, beautiful compound growth. Your money is now doing over 80% of the work for you. So it really comes down to this. You have a choice. You can find a million reasons why it's a bad time to start, or you can decide to begin that grind today. Because I promise you, 30 years from now, your future self is either going to be thanking you for the incredible freedom you've built, or they'll be sitting there wondering, what if? The choice is all yours.